Today, I'm going to be sharing with you 3 fantastic holiday cider recipes, and I really think you're going to love every one of them. Hi, I'm Melissa Diane, and on this channel, we just have so much fun together in the kitchen and out in the garden and just all around our homes. So let's go ahead and jump into the ingredients for this first cider recipe. This first one, y'all, is so simple, you're going to think it's kind of silly because it has so few ingredients. But every time I make it, people just love it and they always want to know what's in it. So let's jump on into it now. For our first cider recipe, you only need 3 ingredients and that is it. The first one is going to be some spiced apple cider. I just get this from our local H-E-B. We're just going to be using 1 container today. The next thing you're going to need is some red hot candies. Now, if for some reason you're not able to find these little hard red hot candies, you can also use some red hot tamale candies. Those work as well, but I don't think they work quite as good. And then the third thing we're going to be using is some cinnamon sticks. Here we go, and y'all, we're going to put this together, and we're going to put this together in less than 1 minute. It is amazing how quick. All you do is you just pour in your apple cider. Here we go. And I'm just using a very small crock pot today. You can use a large one. And then when it comes to your red hots, there's not an exact amount. I'm just actually going to pour some in my hand right here. And I'm going to put in, if you can see, about that many. I'll put these all around the bottom. Maybe a few more. Maybe just a few more. There we go. There we go. Put those around. And then I'm going to come over here and get my cinnamon sticks. And I think, because it's a small crock pot, I'm going to put about 3 of these little guys in there. There we go. 1, 2, and 3. And then we're going to plug this in and we're going to heat it up. And that, y'all, that is it. We've been heating for about 20 minutes on high. So I'm going to go ahead and try it and see how it's tasting. So I'm just going to scoop some out here. I love just having cider on all throughout the holidays. It tastes so good, y'all, and it makes everything smell so wonderful. I always have a pot in here in the pantry going. So now let's take a taste of this and see how it's doing. Y'all, that is so good. It is so good. So now let's jump on into our second cider recipe. For our second cider, we have a few more ingredients, and oh y'all, this one, it is just so good. So let me show you really quick what we're going to be using, and then we'll put it all together. We're going to be using, again, some apple cider. We're going to be using some cranberry juice, and I will have all the measurements for this in the description below the video. Then we're also going to use some pineapple juice, and then for our spices, we're going to be using some cinnamon sticks. We're going to have some cloves. And then we're going to have some allspice, some ground up allspice. And then we're going to use these little guys. If you've never used these, y'all, these are the coolest things. These are called, I don't know how to pronounce them, but they're these little stars. And they're called whole star anise. I'm not sure. So I'm sure I will get lots of comments on how to say this. But it's A-N-I-S-E. They are so pretty when you put them in your cider. So now let's get everything all combined. Now we're all ready to put this together. Now if you wanted to, you could put this on the stove top and heat it up, but I'm going to go ahead and use my crock pot again because I like to leave it on all throughout the day. Now first thing we're going to do is put in our cider, our apple cider right here, and this is going to be 3 cups. 3 cups of the apple cider. Now we're going to put in the cranberry juice. And we're going to do 2 cups. Okay. Next thing we're going to do is put in our pineapple juice. And I'm going to be using 3 of these little cans. Now, if you want to make a big pot of this, then just double or triple this recipe. So we have our apple cider in here. We have got our cranberry juice. And we've got this pineapple juice. Next thing is we're going to go ahead now and start putting in our spices. The first one I'm actually going to put in, I want to make sure I have this on high. There we go, I've got it on high. The first thing I'm going to put in, I don't think I may have mentioned this a while ago, this is some brown sugar. And we do want to put 1/4 of a cup of brown sugar in here. Now, don't worry if you have this in your crock pot, if you're thinking, oh my gosh, all these things we're going to put in here, and then we're going to be scooping this out and putting it in our mugs. Yes, it won't be a problem. You'll just drain that when you're putting that into your cups. Wow, y'all, this is already smelling good, and it's just barely on. Next thing we're going to do is put in our cinnamon sticks. I'm going to reach over here, get me 3 cinnamon sticks. I'm going to put those in. And for these spices, I'm going to be using 1 teaspoon. I'm going to use 1 teaspoon of some whole cloves. There we go. And then I'm also going to be using 1 teaspoon of, I'll show you, my ground allspice. And the brand I'm using today is called Spice Islands. I've used them before for some other things, and I think they do really well. So there we go. We got our allspice in there. And we're just going to let this be heating up. And it will actually start bubbling here in a few minutes. The next thing I'm going to put in is our last little item. And these are these little stars I was telling you about. Look at them. Let me put one in my hand. Look at this. Look at this. They're just the cutest ever. Look at that. And I'm going to drop some in here. I think I'm just going to do about 1, 2. They're pretty strong. I'm just going to put 3 in there. These little guys are kind of strong, but they taste so good. Now we're going to leave this on high, and I will be back in about 15 minutes. We have been heating now for about 15 minutes, so I'm going to put a little bit more of this in. I started filling this up a second ago, and you can tell we have moved. We've moved across the pantry. I thought it'd be fun to film in the pantry today, and the light coming through this window has been giving me a hard time. So let's just put a little bit more in here. That's pretty full. And let's taste this and let's see how it's doing. It is nice and warm. Okay. Y'all, you have to try this one. It is so good. There are so many different flavors in here. And it just, y'all, it smells fantastic. So this is definitely a keeper. Now let's go ahead and we're going to pop into our third cider recipe. Here's the ingredients for our third cider. Again, we're going to be using some spiced apple cider. We've got some lemon juice. Over here, we've got some nutmeg, some cloves, some cinnamon sticks, and you need at least 1 orange. Okay, so now let's reach over here and let's start putting this cider together. First thing we're going to do is I'm putting in here, I think this is about 2 quarts of this apple cider. I already had poured it out into a measuring cup, so that's why it's in a measuring cup right now. And we're just going to put all this cider in here. Okay, next thing we're going to put in is a 1/2 cup of some lemon juice. Okay, I'm going to mix that up a little bit. Reach back here. I need to get this warming again. Let's put this back up on high. Next, we're going to go ahead and we are going to put in some cinnamon sticks. I'm going to put 3 of those in for right now. You can put as many of these cinnamon sticks as you want. You can put a whole bunch on them. If you really like a lot of cinnamon, then just go for it. And now I am going to put, this one right here calls for a little more cloves than some of the other ones. It calls for this one, a whole 1/4 of a cup. I'm going to put just a little less than a 1/4 a cup of cloves throughout here. There we go. And now we just have 2 more things on this one. We got some nutmeg, and this one calls for a whole tablespoon of nutmeg. Okay, so let's get that in here. You know, when this starts heating up, it heats up really fast, and y'all, the smells, it smells just like Christmas. It smells so good. And we've got 1 more item that we're going to be using in this recipe. Hang on 1 second. I just want to stir this up. This isn't really going to melt it's not going to mix really well until it gets hot. It's got to get nice and warm. But now what we're going to do, let's mix and mix. Let this get nice and hot. And now we're going to put those oranges in. And y'all, when you put oranges in your cider, it just really sets it off. So here we go. We're going to put this in here. And we're going to let this get going. The smells are fantastic. Then we're going to turn this up on high. Make sure it's on high. And we are going to cook for probably about 20 minutes. And then I will be back. Okay, so we've been going now for about 15 or 20 minutes. And I've already put some here in my mug. We're going to scoop this out and let's taste this one and see how it's doing. Y'all, these oranges, see these oranges right here? They just make such a difference in this one. So here we go. Here we go. All right, so let's taste this one. And y'all, real quickly, I just love this mug. This mug has a little chihuahua on it. I had my little precious Daisy for about 16 years. And so every Christmas when I use this mug, it makes me think of her. We definitely miss our little chihuahua. So here we go. Y'all, this one is so good. And it smells wonderful. You know, it's really hard to pick which one is my favorite. Oh, wow, y'all, looky here. We have all 3 of our ciders, and every one of these was just fantastic. Be sure and check out that next video that's popping up. I'll see you over there in a few minutes. Bye-bye.